Where is it? Where'd it go? Today on Unpacked, we're going to be looking at some invisible bottles. Or are they? Okay, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of bottles today. And as you know, on this channel, we are really agnostic of packaging. And so as a firm, we're designing everything from bottles to boxes and everything in between. And so I think it's important to take a look at structures, and in this case, more specifically, materials of structures. And to look at what, in this case, Coca-Cola has done. So we've got two bottles here in front of us, and they are clear. And that's important because there's a couple of things going on here. One, our first bottle is Dasani, and love this. If you notice, the largest thing on this label is 100% recycled bottle. That's larger than the brand. They've taken this idea of completely recycled content, and they've pushed it out as a message to consumers. And I love that they've done that. Like, it's when a brand has taken that risk to actually downplay the brand in order to upplay the messaging, love it. And then this whole big message here on the side, again, is massive. It says, "Recycle me again." They don't have enough space here on the label to tell this whole story, but I think they've done it with this massive brand message. There's a little asterisk on here, and I'm trying to find what it says. Except cap and label. So the bottle itself is 100% recycled. That could mean a couple of different things. There's a couple of different recycled content streams. One is post-industrial recycling, and one is post-consumer recycling. Post-industrial recycling is like scrap and processing, or if there was bottles that had to get destroyed for some reason, or things like that. But it generally stays inside a manufacturing environment, and it's clean content. It's a lot easier to use post-industrial content versus post-consumer content, which means it's got to go through that whole recycling train, through the MRF and everything else, and people are really bad recyclers, and so stuff gets contaminated and damaged. Like, there's a lot more to that. This doesn't specify whether or not it was post-consumer or post-industrial. I'm sure if I did a little bit of digging in some articles, I could find that out. But I just wanted to highlight this because I think they've done an awesome job at messaging that. And there's a huge sustainability story to using recycled content, both industrial and consumer. Consumer potentially a little bit more so. But there's another one here that we wanted to identify for a totally different reason, and that is this unassuming Sprite bottle. And if you're a big fan and drinker of Sprite, you would notice something different. If you're not, you may not. But it's clear. What? It used to have this like light greenish tinge, and we need to talk for like 2 seconds about the recycling process. And I've said it before, but recycling works because there's value associated to it. This plastic has value by manufacturers, and so they'll buy the recycled plastic. Green plastic does not have much value. In fact, they try and find alternative streams. So there's like those straps that you see on pallets, or there's a few applications where they'll like shove green plastic, but largely it doesn't have the same value as clear plastic. And so there are instances where green plastic doesn't get recycled because nobody's willing to buy it. And so as a brand, they made this decision to forego their green packaging that's part of their brand in order to use clear packaging that has value. It has a better recycling stream for the purpose of sustainability. And I think that's a worthwhile tip of the hat to a brand that's willing to forego that. They realized they could get enough branding with the cap and the label, but to forego this green bottle, it's a sacrifice. And I tip my hat to them for that. So 2 great examples of packaging done for sustainability, but relatively transparent. You see what I did there? I didn't even do it on purpose. Relatively transparent to the consumer. If you've seen something else like this, hit us up in the comments below. Let us know. Otherwise, stay thirsty, my friends.